Angel, you can go.
Okay, thanks, Eamon. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. A warm welcome to all our participants, to the viewers watching us on YouTube, and Professor Jyoti and Professor Ganesh. Thank you for taking time out from your busy schedules for this particular virtual tour. I would request Professor Jyoti to take over and start explaining and introducing everybody on board.
Thank you, Kinjal, and a warm welcome to all the students of the course Construction Engineering and Management and all guests invited for this virtual tour. Today we'll introduce and have a quick virtual tour on two major studios of construction engineering and management. Before going ahead, I will just briefly introduce the course. Construction Engineering and Management, formerly known as Construction Project Management, was conceived in 1995, providing students with sound principles of project management and their applications in real-world construction issues and constraints. Adhering to this, the two studios majorly of semester 1 and semester 3 were designed in line of having a real-world simulations of the construction projects. So now we go ahead and give an introduction to Studio 1, that is Construction Project Formulation and Appraisal. And the other studio is Integrated Construction Practices. So moving ahead for Construction Project Formulation and Appraisal is one of the first studio which talks about conceiving and development stage of construction projects. I would invite Dr. Ganesh Devkar, who is an associate professor of Faculty of Technology, who was a co-tutor of this construction project formulation and appraisal studio. And I would now request him to brief out the content, pedagogy, and deliverable, and followed by students' work along with that. So on requesting Dr. Ganesh to have a brief introduction of Studio 1.
Thank you, Professor Jyoti. Hello, everyone. Greetings of the day. So I will take you through the pedagogy and process which is followed for the studio named Construction Project Formulation and Appraisal. The construction project goes through a very organic project life cycle wherein the ideas which are there in the minds of designer, architects, comes into a reality in the construction phase, and further the facility or a constructed project tries to meet the expectations of the users of that particular facility. So one of the key stage of this construction project life cycle is the conceptualization phase of this project, wherein the client takes a very important call whether to invest resources by going further into procurement and construction phase of a project. So as part of this conceptualization phase, the client undertakes the appraisal of this potential project idea and investigates its feasibility from the perspective like finance, economic, social requirements, law, risk, stakeholders, and so on. So what we had done in this particular studio, we have created the abilities in the students to analyze a particular potential project from a multi-diverse perspective. So the students were divided into various groups, and each student group has selected projects from various sectors like industry, highway, waste to energy plant, airport, planetarium, and hospitality sector. So what we had done in this pedagogy is we followed the Bloom's taxonomy, wherein we asked the student to understand specifics of this particular project. We equipped them with various tools like risk management, stakeholder management, planning, and scheduling. And with this particular tools, they have applied these tools in a real world projects and came back in a phase called as reflection, wherein student reflected upon the potential project with the application of this tool. So it went through a hierarchical cycle called as remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluation, and creation. So it was a very organic process of learning. In terms of the sequencing of the exercises which were there in this particular studio, the sequencing was also done from the perspective that where you would get hold of the idea, and then you go to the finer detailing of this particular project. So it started with the organization structure of the project, and then concept planning, the legal compliances, stakeholder management, demand and market assessment, and finally it came to a very specific topic like financial analysis and risk management. One of the key thing which we ask the students is to use a diverse set of data to do these exercises. So this data came in the form of two ways. One is primary data and another is the secondary data. So primary data was in the form of the questionnaire surveys or the interviews or sometimes the site visits to understand or to get a first-hand understanding about what's going on with that particular potential project. And along with that, there was a lot of secondary data, which would be from sensors, maps, which was harnessed to conduct any particular exercise. So what we have done in this particular studio is that the students had in-depth understanding about a specific sector based on a project which they have selected. But very importantly, in a studio setting, they also learn from their peers, because during the studio setting, there is a lot of peer learning which could happen because you present your project in front of your colleagues. So not only student got the depth of a particular project, but they also got a breadth in terms of multi-sectoral overview of a particular different set of projects. So I'll now request my students to I'll request them to go through their portfolios. So to begin with, I'll request Tejal to talk about her project. So Tejal Chawate has worked on a industrial project. So Tejal, you may proceed now.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Me, Tejal Chawate, along with my group members, Ashwat Kailasan, Jay Shah and Karan Kothari, worked on this project, which was of the industrial sector. And we chose a noodle manufacturing plant for the study of the construction project formulation and appraisal. So here, the first thing that we had to do was select the project which was suitable. And in this case, we chose this upcoming plant at Sanand in Gujarat. Here, we studied the scope of the project and also the organization breakdown structure of the client. Further, we carried out a demand analysis to understand the demand for the particular noodle product, and also the location analysis to see which is the particular state and location where this noodle plant would be most apt for coming up. Furthermore, we understood the stakeholders involved here, such as the client, the consultants, the people that would be working in the factory, and many more. We also did a cost breakdown structure where we understood where all the costs would be divided in terms of the construction. Also, further, we did a financial analysis to understand the sources of the funds and also to do a sensitivity analysis. And in our case, since it was the industry, the economies of scale. Also, we understood the technical analysis. As you can see that it is showing here, we took different materials to be studied, like the floor finish, the roads, the roofing, and we used lean tools like choosing by advantage to choose a particular material which was appropriate for our project. For example, in case of ours, roofing was important. So we chose zinc aluminum sheets on the basis of the understanding of how it would be suitable in terms of in an industry. Furthermore, we went on to study risk analysis, which is which is below here. If we just scroll down some more, where we understood the different severities and different threats that would be caused by the different risks, and the one which had to, how we would mitigate it using different measures, or if it's an opportunity, how we would enhance and exploit it. So in this way, we carried out a number of exercises to find out how our project would be feasible, and also analyzed all the different factors that had to be considered before we actually go on with the further parts of a project. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Tejal. It was very interesting description about your portfolio. May I request Maharshi to talk about his project on about planetarium? Maharshi?
Yes. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Maharshi Raval, and I, along with my teammates Jugal Pancholi and Shubhamkar Mule, worked on the project of planetarium and exhibition gallery, as you see. As my batchmate Tejal right now described, we worked on all the different deliverables, starting from the client organization structure, the demand analysis, the location analysis, and going up till the environmental impact assessment, also the financial model, the cost management, everything. It was an exercise which made us learn so much and understand the whole aspects of the construction formulation and appraisal. So it was a worthwhile exercise throughout this semester. And here, if I can present my portfolio, is, as you can see, here's the client organization structure. We found out, we met the client at site, we talked about the structure. We also did a plus delta for the same. And moving on, we did the project planning and scheduling in the MS Project software, and we tried to come up with a schedule of how the project would go on. So we also found the duration, how long would the different phases of the project work, milestone activities, and all such, as you can see on the screen right now. Then we also found out the legal compliances this project would require, because any project would require certain legal compliances, the days required for the same, the cost for the same, and everything else was, the process was done. Going on to the resource management, we also learned about the allocation of resources for different agencies, like the advisory consultant, the design technical agency. And this is how we try to understand the rates, the per hour cost, and try to find out the cost difference between the early start and the late start of the same activities. And then a very important exercise which we did was the financial analysis of the whole project, where we tried to understand the cash inflow, the cash outflow, the revenue generation. And our project being a tourism and recreational sector project, it was a very interesting concept to come up with, because there are different theories which we could come up with for tourism footfall. And it was a fun exercise which we did along in the guidance of our faculties. And we found out the revenue and cash flow estimates, found out the IRR and NPV for different scenarios. And at the end also, there is a section called the techno-economic analysis, where we compared the facade material which is going to be used for the project, which we compared tempered glass along with polycarbonate, and tried to find out the cost difference that would come up at the end of a project life cycle of 25 years. And then, of course, there were different deliverables, as already discussed, like the WBS and the procurement modality, EIA, which you can always visit on the CEP portfolio website and see for the work we did. So thank you very much for this chance, and over to you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Maharshi. Thanks for a very quick overview of the exhaustive work which you have undertaken in the studio. So I'll request Parth Kelawala, who would take an overview of his project, which is related to hospitality sector.
Yes, thank you, sir. Here I am Parth Kelawala. My team members Kavya Jain, Preksha Jain, and Vivek Patel. As our sector is hospitality sector, so we choose to do the feasibility study on luxury service apartment hotel. So basically, the concept of the luxury service apartment is aimed to combine the experience of living an elite life with home-like environment. It is a very cost-effective alternative for the business travelers. So we just first introduced our project with a project timeline, which shows here. The project starts from the January 2015 and it's going to complete in June 2021. Please scroll down. Then we just introduce about the project amenities, which are inculcated in our project, like several amenities on ground floor, first floor, and 30 to 11 floor with luxury service apartment. Then approximate cost of the project is 207 crores. Then we did the we did the analysis of the organization structure of our own client. From that, after referring organization structures of the other hotels, we did the plus and delta analysis, and we proposed our client to several changes in their organization structures, which is also shown in the below figure. Then we did a breaking down our whole project into 5 major phases. Please just scroll down, which started with inception stage, development, implementation stage, closeout stage, and operation and maintenance stage, in which we includes the all the elements which is needed to be completed on the project. Uh, Please scroll down. Then we did the planning of our whole project, because planning is very essential. That we did in our Microsoft project. We divided each phases with their a number of activities like inception. There it includes 129 days. Likewise, we create the milestone schedule for the each phases, which is shown here with their start date, duration, and the finish date. Now coming to the demand analysis, because demand is very important for any large scale project. So we did the demand analysis for our project, in which we conclude, please scroll down. We take factors like service apartment, demand of service apartment at India, Gujarat, and Surat level. Like we consider some factors like overview of Gujarat tourism, Surat city overview, in which we considered a tourist footfall in Surat, growth of textile and diamond industry, because our project is a hotel project, and which is largely demand on these two industries. Then we carried out the Surat market analysis for the demand of our current project. From that, we conclude that there is a sufficient demand for this. Then we move forward. Please scroll down. Then we did the regression analysis to check that whether there is a demand supply gap. If there is a gap, then we move forward this project. Uh, yes. Then we carried out the location analysis and other technical analysis of our project, like as sir mentioned. So this is our first studio work, which I conclude here. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Parth. So thanks to all of you, Tejal, Parth, and Maharshi, for giving a overview of your studio. So now I'll request Professor Jyoti to take over and take overview of the other studio. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Professor Ganesh Devkar, and entire Studio One Semester One batch for working on this multiple projects. Now we move ahead to the third semester studio, that is integrated construction practices. The studio integrated construction practices is designed to simulate the process of integrated project delivery and global project collaboration using appropriate software tools. And it encompasses the concepts and principles of building information modeling, lean construction, and integrated and collaborative practices of project delivery. So this studio was taken up as myself, Professor Jyoti Trivedi, and Dr. Bhargav Dave, who is founder and CEO of Visaline. He has vast experience of national and international projects dealt in under collaborative environment of project delivery. So as moving ahead for this studio of digitization and lean construction in industry, where digitization is a game changer, and in the post-COVID scenario, the collaborative environment was simulated in terms of having the integration of people, process, and technology together in this studio. The key pedagogy looking to the post-pandemic transformation in different sectors, like we are facing here in COVID-19. We established delivering about awareness to the students and for their different projects about establishing technology and process transformation in the construction sector. And the major focus was emphasizing these processes with the help of BEAM and lean and integrative collaborative environment simulated in their live projects taken up. The keys of integrated project delivery was looking towards the integrated people, processes, and technology, where the creation of visual ecosystem via BIM models and BIM tools and technologies were enhanced, along with lean principles of minimizing waste in construction, which increase value, facilitate time and cost saving to their project and to the processes, and looking to the various top-down and bottom-up approach of organization and the current traditional practices, which were compared with the integrated project delivery practices. The key deliverables and the timelines are given, which talks about selecting a project, and the stakeholders role play was given to the students, and while selecting the project, they had to work on the BIM execution plan as the deliverable. They had to work on virtual collaborative environment as the deliverable exercise. They developed BIM models and did BIM uses of clash detection, quantity takeoff. Virtual design and construction were adapted as one of the key exercise, and how this virtual design and construction can be integrated to lean tools and minimizing and optimizing the design operations and processes, along with virtual processes of integrating it to cost and schedule tracking as one of the exercise. Along with that, use of design structure matrix as a part of identifying the risk associated to the stakeholders and the processes. Taking ahead to the lean principles and lean practices of applying last planner system to their projects as one of the exercise, and the last exercise leading to the feedbacks, taking it back again from the projects which were selected. So there were 6 groups who were assigned for this studio as a project exercise. 3 projects were on in Ahmedabad and were talking about or dealing it with commercial building projects, and 3 projects. One was in Kerala, 1 project in Maharashtra, and 1 project as Convention Center in New Delhi were taken as a part of the project delivery of this studio, and as sharing about the key deliverables part of it. I will now go ahead and invite Daksh for sharing his portfolio and his group work for this studio. Daksh, over to you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So I would request the operator to open the window of my project. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. I guess Hemant sir has left.
Can you share your screen, or shall I share my screen?
I think there was some network issue, and because of that, he had to sign out. Daksh, are you able to share your screen till then?
Sure, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah.
So is my screen visible?
Yes, Daksh, it is.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Welcome.
So a very good afternoon to one and all present here. So our Studio 3 integrates lean and BIM principles, as Jyoti Trivedi ma'am rightly mentioned, giving us insights to various practices followed in the industry and their application in the field of project. So the project selected was a rail terminal building by my group, which comprised of Keval Solanki, Nishani Salvi, Shrinjoy Das, and myself. As projects of such national importance incorporates a number of factors governing pace, quality, and cost of the work, which requires extensive coordination and collaboration. So for coming to my portfolio work, I role played as a contractor, structural consultant, and a firefighting consultant. So starting from the site layout analysis, we did site layout analysis of existing site prepared by the contractor and optimized it based on our observations and based on the problems faced by the site personnel. Out of various points considered as constraint, we tried to optimize the location of the site components based on the area requirements, and the feasibility of same was discussed with the planning manager of our site. Again, coming for site layout optimization, we also explored a new tool available in Revit 2020 called Path of Travel Analysis, which helps us to quantify the changes which we make in optimized site layout. We have listed down the advantages as the Path of Travel tool avoids obstacles. However, one limitations which we explored was that it does not consider the width of the moving object. We also explored use of Synchro for dynamic site layout assessment, as we all know that the site layout is quite dynamic, as there are a lot of labor movements, manpower movements, equipment movements. So we use Synchro for it, and this table shows the summary of the optimized path layout and the existing path layout, the difference in distance time as well as distance as well as time. We prepared various process models. So this is a process map for structural model, our structural LOD 400 model, which helped us to understand various activities and their dependencies on each other, and to know what impact one activity would have on the another activity. These are few snips from our structural LOD 400 model. So the model as can be presented for constructability sequence. The key challenge which we faced while modeling this was extremely confined spaces of reinforcement like that of shear walls, and it was really helpful for getting quantities and cost estimation as well. So we did carried out clash detection. That part has been covered in one of my colleagues' portfolio. But to quantify the clashes, we observed that we had 3 clashes as rework clashes and 30 as redesign clashes, out of which one quantification of rework clashes has been represented in this slide. Coming to the graph on the right side, it can be easily recognized that rework costs are substantially high compared to the redesign clashes. So if the clash detection is carried out prior to the actual execution of work, it really helps us in saving a lot of resources in terms of cost, time, and manpower. This was the process flow adopted by our group for quantity takeoff using Revit, as well as by comparing it with manual quantity takeoff. For Revit, we carried out quantity takeoff for all the models which we modeled in Revit. However, for carrying out manual quantity, we just took it for structural model. This is the comparison of variation of different elements in quantity takeoff, that done by Revit and that done by manually. And there was a very negligible cost difference which we observed. So, and mostly the reason of variation was rounding of digits and some modeling errors. The scope of work for cost estimation was our entire project model. So we did cost estimation for total formwork quantity as well as total concrete quantity. So based on the quantity takeoff, we inferred that the traditional approach requires rigorous activity, as the quantity takeoff becomes tedious when in case of design changes, scope changes, or design revisions. However, by Revit, it can be done within few seconds or few minutes. So we also observed few limitations of Revit quantity takeoff, that certain elements, properties, such as element ID, services, etc., we were not able to extract directly from the model, and also the quantity takeoff cannot be done directly in Excel. So for overcoming those limitations, we also explored the application of Dynamo scripting in it, and which is given in the current slide.
Sorry to interrupt. Daksh, 2 more minutes to wind up, so we could include one more project.
Yes, ma'am. This is the last slide.
Okay.
So after understanding the BIM approach throughout our studio project and understanding the traditional approach and feedbacks and interaction with the experts, site personals, we compared the problems faced by the traditional approach, and we tried to identify the solutions that were possible by the IPD approach. So thank you so much. I would like to hand over the mic to Jyoti ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Daksh. And I would invite Shweta to quickly brief out her portfolio and her project brief. Yeah.
Sure, ma'am.
Shweta, can you just share?
I would request Daksh to please share my portfolio on the screen, if it's possible.
Sure, sir.
Hello, everybody. Greetings for the day. Now we shall have a look at the application of some of the important components of integrated project delivery on a mixed-use project. This presentation is an outcome of group work done by 4 students during the course of the studio: Om Karkar, Vihar Desai, Dhruv Trivedi, and myself, R. Shweta. So the project considered here is a 20-story mixed-use commercial tower comprising of retail spaces, hotel, and office spaces. So the whole process of work in the 3rd semester started with understanding the document of EIR, that is Employers Information Requirements. And to understand the applications of IPD and its benefits in a much better manner, in the following slides, we shall have a look at the existing project delivery approach that we studied through this in the course of the studio. So Daksh, if you can just scroll down. So we studied the existing project delivery approach and its shortcomings. And based on these shortcomings, we formulated the EIR document of the project, which are given in the following slides. So the project goals and scope were proposed in the EIR sections. And based on this EIR document, a BIM execution plan was formulated for the project. Further, we conducted modeling of various design disciplines on Revit, such as architectural modeling, structural modeling, and MEPF modeling. We also conducted clash detection and resolution in the following slides, if you can scroll down. The whole process of each modeling of each design discipline was documented in terms of a flow chart, and problems encountered also were documented and solutions were identified to mitigate the problem. Further, we did 4D and 5D simulation, and earned value analysis was calculated from the 5D simulation. And the conclusion and learnings were also documented for the project. Also, the deliverables were reviewed by the project stakeholders, and this sums up the work done as a part of 3rd semester studio for the project.
Jyotiban, unmute yourself.
Yeah. Thank you, Shweta, for giving a quick overview, and the 4D and 5D simulations and the VR and AR are one of the applications which VR applications are being introduced by students, and those those videos are also uploaded by the students on their portfolios. So if anyone wants to further review that how the 4D and 5D simulations are converted to the VR platforms can be explored further um, within the exhibition link. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, professors. Thank you, all the students. Definitely a very in-depth explanation of all the projects, the studio, the aim. Thank you so much for your time, and please spread the word. Have everybody on board watching the exhibition website. Thank you so much for your time, everybody.
Thank you, Kinjal. Yeah, thank you, everyone. Yeah.